All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a lesson, a video on all the ways, or some of the ways, not all, because there's plenty of other things I would have not mentioned, man. Some of the ways in which women, right, the daughters of Zion, you Israelite women out there, some of the ways in how they are lamenting for the Teats, longing for a time that they used to be able to have, man. Longing for a situation, a type of lifestyle that they was having that they're no longer able to have anymore, or it's starting to be attacked, right? They're starting to lose certain aspects of what made them so proud and arrogant in this society. And before I start listing off some of these ways, I want to go right to the scripture that I'm talking about, because it, like, prophecy is real, man, right? And the things that take place in prophecy affect what happens in the real world, affect what happens in real life. So give me 1 second. All right, so we got Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. And part of the reason why the women of Israel were supposed to rise up was because the things that was currently making them not want to listen to the speech of the Lord, not want to listen to the words and the voice and the warnings of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai through men that he put on earth to warn about the dark days to come, were because of the things that they had that made them think that there ain't no dark days. And women are still, a lot of women are still in limbo, and they're in the twilight zone about whether in the next 7 days, really, they are going to receive financial help or whether they're not. Now, some people are saying that they're going to receive it and it's going to have restrictions on it. That's what I think is going to be the most likely route, right? But then either way it goes, I don't think that this is right now is where they're going to completely start to lose out. Even if they have to go a week without it, it'll probably be backdated or whatever, right? But then when it comes back, which it surely will, I believe, these women are going to actually get arrogant again. They're not, a lot of them are going to get arrogant. They're not going to be like, man, phew, I received some mercy there. I should humble myself, and all the fear that I had and thinking I'm going to have to humble myself to men. Even if it does come, the money does come back that I was getting, I should still humble myself to a man now, right? And I want to also say this to brothers out there: don't start thinking that if women start showing you some attention, wanting you to pay, but they're wanting you to pay their bills or go some 50-50, that's Isaiah 4:1. And I ain't knowing to warn nobody on nothing anyway, but that would not be Isaiah 4:1. Even if 5 women say, oh, you know what, that guy there, I've been noticing him around my area. He's always just keeps himself to himself, but there's something manly about him, and I want him to pay my bills. That's not Isaiah 4:1. Because Isaiah 4:1, the woman ain't going to be coming to you with her hand out begging for nothing. All she's going to want is to be with you. That's all it's going to be. That's going to be involved in that situation. You being with her. And in fact, let me not even say it like that. Her being allowed to be with you, right? Not you being with her. No, she's going to be allowed if you give her the honor to be with you, because that's what it's going to be, an honor for her to be with any of you brothers out there in that time, man. Right now, these women don't think that. But in the time to come, they're going to think it's an honor, right? They'll eat their own bread. You don't have to feed them in no way. They wear their own apparel. You don't have to buy them nothing. Only let us be called by thy name to take her reproach. Because the thing that's going to make a woman have a stain on her in that time is that she don't have no man. And the current events that are getting ready to take place are going to be what's going to make a woman look like she's got a stain on her. Or she ain't got no man. No, all these other women that aren't starving. There's women out there that are starving, but there's women out there that aren't starving. What's the difference between the women that are starving and the women that aren't starving? Well, the women that aren't starving have got a man. The women that are starving was those, I don't need no man type of women. Were those buying, instead of spending their money on groceries, they'd spend their money on a wig. They spend their money on weave. They spend their money on their hair, lashes, and nails. And then they try and email some sucker via text, get in contact with some sucker via text. Or I ain't got it right now. They'll be on the other side of the phone telling some guy, They ain't got it right now when they've just spent about £500 on what they look like, when they only needed about 300-400 to pay for what was necessity. But they'll be telling him, oh, I ain't got it right now. And then he'll say, I ain't got it either. And they'll be like, what do you mean you ain't got it, huh? No, what do you mean you ain't got it? It was your responsibility. What do you mean you ain't got it? He don't have to have it because it's not his responsibility. And then these women will be like, oh, I'm blocking you. Block him then. Do him a favor. Block him, please. Do him a favor, man. You're actually helping him out. Oh, don't threaten him with a good time. As the saying goes, man. But you women didn't understand these things when you was doing it, though, when you was running your mouth. You didn't understand it, man. And no one's going to care. And some men out there actually hoping that some of you women come and ask them for some money just so that they can tell you to go fuck yourself. Some men are actually hoping for you women to come begging, trying to be like, hey, stranger, how things been? And they'll be like, oh, you want some money, huh? So that they can tell you to go run somewhere, man. Go send off, man. You ain't getting nothing around here. A lot of men are really looking forward to that day when some of you women try and come fake humble with your sub story. Oh, I lost this and I lost that. Mate, we're going to have lost things too. We lost things as well. And then there was this saying that was going around where, Mr. 47, TRUMP, right, has gave the so-called black woman back to the so-called black man. But who cares now? She's tainted, man. Who cares if she gave him back? He got rid of her. She didn't leave. You know what I mean? No one likes to be the rebound. That's the dating term, right? The rebound and that. Oh, the person that they wanted to be with cast them off. So then now they're trying to rebound to your ass and they're trying to overdo it when you first meeting them. Right? Trying to use you to make them jealous. And that's what Eve would have the nerve to try and do. She'd try and come fake humble to Jake. To be like, see, Esau, I'm good now. I'm good. Take me back. Please start doing all these things for me. See, I'm sorry for how I was acting. But it wouldn't be for us that she'd be doing it for. It'll be so that Esau can see, or she'll start hating Jake. To be like, oh, I must have been loving Jake too much. I need to hate him more so that Esau, the white man, can love me again. Because when I was hating my own men, even worse, he was loving me. But here's the thing, you men haven't been being righteous towards the men of your nation. It's just that Esau don't need you no more. You played your role, right? He hoped that he could use you to try and destroy us from ever finding out it was Israelites. It didn't work. He don't have a need for you no more. He'll use AI and his technology to try and do the things that he was trying to do before now. He can now make a fake video on AI to try and smear our name. He don't need you, right? You ain't relevant no more to him. And that's one of the teats that you're going to be lamenting for, man. That Esau, that Zaddy love that y'all wanted so much. That Zaddy, that R&B, Edomite hugging Eve on a Titanic spirit that you were hoping for, man. You didn't want it to be Kate Winslet on the Titanic getting hugged by a Leonardo DiCaprio looking cat on a big boat with her arms just stretched out like Michael Jackson. No, you wanted it to be you on the boat, right? Zaddy and Eve sitting in the tree, KISSING. That's what y'all wanted it to be. But nah, that honeymoon's over, man. The honeymoon period's over. Verse 10, many days and years shall be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail. The gathering shall not come. That fine life that y'all was seeking after is going to be taken away. And I'm going to go into a list of the things that I was thinking about not that long ago. In fact, like maybe 5 or 6 hours ago, I was just thinking, man, because I was seeing videos of brothers and elders and apostles, people that are putting up and hearing things that brothers and elders and people have been saying, apostles and people have been saying. I was like, you know what, let me start writing down some of these things that like are the teats that these women are going to be lusting after, man, and longing for. And I came up with like 18 things, but as I start reading off the list, I might start thinking about more, and some of the things are kind of linked anyway, but I'm going to go to it anyway. Verse 11, tremble you women are at ease, be troubled you careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. So get ready for some harsh times. right? Because even the stress of not knowing where your next money's coming from is bothering, man. It's a bothersome thing to not know where your money's coming from. And I'm seeing videos of Edomites complaining about this stuff. I'm gonna have to decide whether I'm gonna buy groceries or whether I'm gonna buy food. Mate, we've been like that in our life, man. Jake's been like that. Jake knows what that's about, bro. Jake knows about using some hot water instead of as an alternative to milk. Jake knows what that's about, man. Jake knows about corned beef and having to learn how to season food and trying to make tuna from a can taste like some gourmet meal. Jake knows all about that. You Edomites don't know about that. Jake knows all about what it's like to have the worst cuts of chicken, the worst cuts of beef. We know all about that. Brazilians, they know all about that. They're Jacob too, man. They're from the tribes too. They know all about taking these slave cuts of food, right? And turning it into something tasty to the point where now them Brazilian foods have become a delicacy in Brazil and people will travel all over the world just to taste how they cook that food, man. But originally, it was garbage. I've seen that the chef Gordon Ramsay get served chitlins in some restaurant in some Jake restaurant in America, and he was like, "Man, this is gorgeous." He couldn't have he couldn't find a complaint. He loved it. But that's a disgusting. That's something you're not even supposed to eat. That's pig intestines, if I'm not mistaken. But he he loved it because Jake's learned to cook disgusting things that they would have been forced to have in the past and turn them into something that tastes nice. Now, you're not supposed to eat pork. You're not supposed to. But the point I'm making is that Jacob's able to turn things that are wicked to make it look like it's righteous, man. Which Eve was able to turn something that's wicked to make it look like righteous. She was able to turn disrespecting her man, disrespecting men in general. She was able to turn that into righteousness, man. The way how she disrespected the Israelite man is disgusting. The way how she talked about the men of her nation is disgusting. But as now you're going to start to see them get hit financially, they're going to start trying to look at certain men like, oh, the honor's all theirs. Oh, I'm prepared to humble myself and climb down from my caramel chocolatey so-called black woman throne, right, where I'm a queen and deal with a peasant like yourself. Thanks. Now you've got the honor of paying all of my bills. Here's the list. I normally used to spend 500 on my weave fortnightly. So now that's your burden. You're welcome. I used to spend 1,000 on going to restaurants a month. You're welcome. That's now your burden as well. But you get the prize of being with me, a caramel chocolatey queen, Eve. You're welcome. I know you're honored. Oh, and don't forget my nails as well. That were 200 a month. So that's your honor as well now. So that's 1,700. Then I might just want to go for a little lunch every now and again, and this and that, and the girls. And don't forget the holidays that I'm accustomed to. You know what I mean? Like Chris Rock said, accustomed to. Right? I've became accustomed to. Right? So then I'm gonna do that as well. And I'm not gonna delete my Instagram account for you either, because that's too far. And if you want me to, I'm insecure. You're insecure if you say that. But you've got the honor now of all the things that I used to pay for myself that made me arrogant and now I can't afford. Now you've got the honor of paying them for me. So now the 1,000 or the thousands of pounds that you might have had spare a month, or the hundreds of pounds that you might have had spare a month, now you don't have it spare anymore, but you've got me around. Isn't it lovely? Isn't it lovely that I've gave you the honor of not being able to have disposable income for anything that you might want to do now, and now you're either just meeting neutral, or you're in the minus from me being around. But you get to see me though, and get to see how chocolatey and caramel I am. My chocolatey Eve skin, my chocolatey caramel Eve presence. Now you get to enjoy me around. Isn't it lovely that I've climbed down from my Eve black Shebrew Evite from the tribe of Evi throne to deal with you, just a black man. That's how they're treating you, Jakes. They ain't gonna make to try and treat Hebrew Israelites like that though. But that's not ones that are of the elect anyway. They'll see through the BS. They'll be able to sense, hang on, this woman's seen man enough times before. Why is she smiling now for? Why is she smiling in this guy? Why you're gonna some of you Jakes in the world, even you're gonna have to ask yourself that question. Why is this woman that you've seen several times? Because it's gonna be some of the women in your own area that are gonna try this too. Why is this woman that's in the same area that you're from that's seen you several times and never ever wanted to interact with you once? Why is it that all of a sudden now she wants to talk to you? Did you become more handsome all of a sudden? No. Did you become richer all of a sudden? No, you didn't. Did you become more charming all of a sudden? No, you never. In fact, you might have not been that charming to begin with. So what is it that's changed up? Oh, her pockets are running dry. Zaddy done kicked her to the curb, right? And now she's trying to look to rebound off your ass. Nah, bruh. And that's what you women are going to experience, man. Narcissistic collapse is one of the things you women are going to experience. And look that up if you ain't ever came across that term. Narcissistic collapse. That's what a lot of these Israelite women are going to experience, man. Along with Esau is going to experience it too. Right? And they're going to experience lamenting for them teats, man. Verse 12, they shall lament for the teats, for the present fields, for the fruitful vine. They're going to be longing for all the good times. Where the good times at? And now let's go to the list of things that I wrote down where these women are going to start longing for them, man. Right, so here we got the list, all the ways women will lament for the teats. And it says all in here. But this obviously isn't all, because there's plenty of things that I'm not going to mention that some of you brothers out there might be like, man, he never even said that. I thought he would have said that. Well, forgive me on that. Like, these are just the things that sprang to my mind. And most of them revolve around men, because men are the ones, and some of these women might see this and be like, why is everything talking about men for? Why is everything talking about men for? What is that? Our life just revolves around men. Men are the ones that allowed you to run your mouth. Without men, you wouldn't be able to do none of the stuff that you're doing. Just remember that. Because it's men that are deciding to take away that EBT thing in America, right? Men are in charge of that being taking place. And therefore, if they decide that they're taking it away from you, you're not having it anymore. If men are deciding that it's not going to exist anymore, you're not having it. All the women in the earth can decide whatever they want to say together. But if men ultimately decide, nah, you ain't having it, you're not having it. And even in the realm of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, a woman can make a vow unto the Lord. Her husband can find out about the vow and be like, man, that vow is some foolishness, and say to Yahweh or pray to the Lord and say, man, reject her vow. She don't know what she's talking about, man. She's a fool for on that vow. To reject that vow, Yahweh, because she don't know what she's talking about. Men can do that. They've got the authority to do that. You can't do that to us, though. You think you can, but you can't do that to us. A lot of you so-called black women have got too used to telling the so-called black man what to do. But guess what? Now it's not happening no more. Now you're going to be getting told what to do. Right? And in fact, you might not even be lucky enough to experience that, because the men are just be like, I don't care what you do. Just do it away from me. Get away from me. Why are you knocking my door for? Why are you calling my phone? Like, I see one video where the man had the woman saved in his phone as always begging. Like, that's ridiculous. He had her saved in his phone as always begging. So what kind of personality is that woman got then? But anyway, let's get to this. All the ways, or a list of the ways that women shall lament for the teats. First one that I put up there, men not approaching anymore, because through men approaching women and wanting to sleep with them, hollering at them, trying to get their phone number, their Instagram and all this stuff, women have become extremely arrogant, because when they leave out their house, they've got a man at home some of the time, but then they have all these other men that don't care that she's got a man, and they start hollering at her, so then she becomes arrogant and starts thinking, oh, well, if I can start being a bit more lippy and a bit more running of my gum, bumping my gums off in my current relationship, because I know that there's plenty of backup options, right? Then the social media got invented, and that extended even worse, because now the net of people wasn't just whoever she passes by when she walks down the street, it was everyone. It could even be a famous celebrity that she's never been to the same the same country as him at the same time. And she can try and fake her location on there and set her location to whatever that person's location is, to imagine a dream life of what she would have lived if she lived in France, if she lived in Spain, if she lived in Germany, if she lived in Brazil. Or if I lived in Brazil, I would have been with a man like this. That's how they'll think in their mind. And they believe that them being able to sleep with a man is the same as them being able to be in that relationship with that man and him taking care of them financially, which is not the same thing. Plenty of you women have slept with a guy that was charming enough for 3 hours when you met him in a nightclub. You had the one night stand with him. He had the night. You stepped outside. You seen his car. You're like, whoa, this guy's got the bag. Yeah, that's what you thought. You was like, yo, raw. So this guy's handsome. He's about a foot taller than me. Or I seen all these other women in the club that was wanting them as well, but he left out the club with me tonight. So I know that he's definitely got options, but he's choosing me. So that means that I'm the best woman in the world, or the best woman at least in that club tonight, because he left with me. It's not because I'm the easiest one and he knew that it was sealed in the bag if I leave with him. Nah, that's not what it is. It's because I'm the best chocolatey caramel queen, right? That's the reason why he left out there with me. And then you left out there with him. You saw his car. Then he went back to his apartment. He's like, raw. It gets even better. You smell his sheets. You're like, bro, his sheets. What? Is this lavender? Then he hit you off with something. You was like, whoa. He pulled out some moves tonight. And then you just thought life could never get better than this. And you thought, man, you basically already planned the vows. You already imagined what dress you was going to wear when you went down the aisle. And then you tried to call him up the next day or thought he was going to call you back. And you got nothing to be heard, man. He didn't want to know, bro. And then you went back to the same nightclub to try and see if you would see him there. And in some of these situations, you did see him there, and he's talking to a next woman that either looks just as good as you do or better. And then you thought he was going to try and play the same games that you play with some other Jakes, and he didn't remember you. You're like, what? Who are you? What? Oh, listen, lady. I had a nice time, but I'm not finna be held down. And that was your life. And then you got sour, tried to find some punk, some guy that you thought was a punk, and oh yeah, this guy would be thank his lucky stars if he's in a relationship with me. So then you went in a relationship for a year or two to try and get over what happened with that other guy that you really want to be with, and suddenly stalking him online. And then you start getting disrespectful to the other guy that you're in a relationship with because you keep comparing him to that guy. But that guy actually cared about you when he shouldn't have, because you're a demon. He should have treated you just the same as the other guy, if not worse, for your arrogance of trying to think he was the second best, man. This is what you women experience, but now you don't even get that. The men are even approaching to even give you that fake fantasy life. Verse 2. Number 2, men no longer wanting to go on food dates. Some of you women have been fed for a whole week from dates in your lifetime, man. You've been fed from men taking you out on dates. Men are just taking you out. Like, men don't get to experience that in our life. Do you think that in every single city, some of these cities, right, in the so-called West, right, there's restaurants and there's food in those restaurants that if a brother tasted that food, they'd be like, what the hell is this? I ain't never tasted nothing like this before, right? But in order for them to taste that food, they have to pay, right? They ain't just no random woman that we do or don't find attractive that's prepared to take us out to this restaurant. That ain't happening. Now, obviously, some men have had women pay for them for things, right? But it ain't no like just rant. You just first met them. You walking on the street, they just first met the woman. It's like, oh, I think you're real handsome. I'd like to take you out on a date. And you're there trying to do it. Where are you going to take me? Where are you going to take me now? As a man, you're saying to the woman, where are you going to take me now? Oh, have you heard of Paparino's five-star restaurant Italiano Expresses? Papiano's. Oh, you have heard about that. But isn't it $500 a plate? Oh, you're worth it. You're worth it, mate. Do you know what I mean? Women ain't coming up to men like that. Now, there might be somebody out there that this is happening to, but not really, though. Not that to that extreme. They might pay for some lower level costing foods, but not no higher level costing ones. And then now you're in Papiano's ordering BS things that you don't even know if you'll like them. because you ain't paying. But when you women are paying for your own food, you're making sure you know what you're getting on that thing, aren't you? But when the men used to take you out on them food dates, you would order things that you don't even know if you're gonna like it or not. What is escaramo, tala pala rala tala shala bala bala oysters? What is mala 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 tala teriyaki and stew caviar? I've never tried that before. You know it's $500, right? Yeah, I'd like to try that though. And then you taste it and you're like, ugh. But you're like, well, I ain't paying anyway. Now I know that I don't like oysters. So now that's one thing off the list I can tick off that I don't like. But when other people start talking about it as if it's tasty, I can say, oh yeah, I've had oysters as well. Yeah, oysters. I've had them before. I didn't really like the taste though. And you can try and think that you're just a star of heaven, floating through the earth, a socialite, so that you can use it as one of them scenarios that you women get around each other and start boasting about how much men lust after you and are prepared to pay for your whole life, or how much you don't like men trying to holler at you, so that you can have that little female competition that you all have with each other. One woman starts talking about how her husband's so good and now y'all start getting sour. Or one woman starts talking about how I was walking down the street the other day and these guys were just 5 guys, like, just in a car, just in a whip, just beeping it on at me, talk about, yo, babes, you want to come in the ride? And I was just like, man, And then now the other woman's going to start running their mouth. Oh, yeah, the same thing happened to me the other day, but I was riding a car and 10 men in a fancy limousine, but I was just like, not today, man. I just ain't got the time today. And then y'all all getting that cipher of trying to act like y'all all just the stars of the earth, living your movie, you chocolatey caramel queens, right? Black Shebrew Evites from the tribe of Evi, and everyone just wants to help you. Well, now you ain't getting them stories, because now you women complaining. Number 4, men expect more things from women, and this is how the women call it, aka men are sassy and wanting to be treated like princesses. Well, no, they just expect something from you women, just like how you expect something from them, right? Men no longer want to wait for sex with you women. So now you ain't able to string them along for 3 or 4 dates. You ain't able to, which that's not too crazy of a length of time. If a woman was a virgin and she's really trying to get to know a guy, right? It's not necessarily a wrong thing for women to want to get to know the guy, but they're wanting to get to know the guy, and every single date that he's taking them on has to be some expensive thing a lot of the time in this current society right now. Maybe not so much in the past, but right now as it goes, that's how they're doing it. But then there's some other guy, and this is why men don't take what you women say seriously. Some other guy didn't have to take you nowhere. He didn't have to spend no money at all. So obviously the standard that you have in order for a man to be with you is not real. Because if it was real, any man would have to follow it, whether he's handsome to you or not. The men that you do like would have to follow that, and the men that you don't like would have to follow it. They'd all have to meet the same exact characteristic. But some of you men was getting on that Kevin Samuels show, and I'd be looking at the woman, I'd be like, is this woman serious? You, as a 5'2", 200 pounds woman, want the same kind of the same kind of man that the most beautiful and humble women would expect to get. They expect that some of these women in this society will be a Micah 7 and 10 woman, right? But they're expecting to get the same kind of man as a Proverbs 31 woman, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely sickening. But the reason why you was so arrogant is because men was approaching you, and let me pull the cats out of the bag. Let me explain to you why these men was hollering at you to clap the cheeks, not because they really gave 2 bleeps about you, man. In most of the cases, the men that did like you women and actually wanted to know what you was about for real, you didn't like them. And now though, those men are like, you know what? Forget you. Don't try and come back around now. To hell with you. And they've found other ways to get women that have got some kind of manners around here, passport bros, which some of that's just going to a country where women are poorer and tricking off and all that anyway, right? But some of the men actually find women that actually want to be with them for real. Or the men are going to and dating some women that are of other nations and not just the so-called white woman, by the way. Right? That's just one woman, and they're idiots as well, man. The so-called white woman just stupid asshole too. She ain't no specialized woman that's better than anyone else. In fact, she's one of the biggest demons on earth because she's an Edomite. Right? Now, the so-called white-looking women that are Israelites, okay, they gonna be under the new covenant. But the ones that are not, y'all ain't under the new covenant. It don't matter who you could have dated. You could end up as King David's concubine in the kingdom of heaven. You ain't gonna be under the new covenant. You're still gonna be an Edomite. And if it's the like, so this is what some of you women need to know, man. In the 999th year of the kingdom, an Israelite man will definitely, for damn sure, have some concubines that are going to be Edomite women. But guess what? In that 1000th year of the kingdom, when the kingdom's now going into its next phase of everlastingness, any Edomite concubines are going to experience what any other Edomite is going to experience. Obadiah, right? Chapter 1 and verse 18. Right? They're not going to, this is one of my batch. This is one of my harem. So they're staying around me. I've got the authority to cancel their access to Obadiah 1 and verse 18, man. We'll be like, yo, back up, man. Yo, it's good to see ya. Thanks for the fun times. But let me use one of these English terms. Terror. You know what I mean? Terror, love. And they'll be sent into the same place that these other Edomites are going to be getting sent, man. So I hope you Edomite women ain't thinking that the Israelite man's just been longing to be able to love you the way that he wants to love you. Because you're going to get humbled too. The Israelite woman's going to have the best of the best in the kingdom of heaven, not you. The Israelite woman's going to have the access to the best things in the kingdom of heaven, not you. Right? But she's going to have to get her ass cursed out right now because she's been going off. She's going to have to catch hell to really realize how much she screwed the men of her nation over. And she's going to realize that in the Edomite man's eyes, she could never be an Edomite woman. She's always just been an Israelite that he hates. But he was able to trick her for a time to use her as a weapon against his main target, which was always and will always be the Israelite man. Because the Israelite woman is not no threat in the grand scheme of things. She doesn't have as much faith as the Israelite man. She can't bring forth Israelites without the Israelite man. So she's not a threat to his authority on earth as much as the men are. Right? Let's carry on these. Men only stare but don't approach. Now women are just being used for the man to just look at you for a bit. Oh yes, she looks nice, and then he keeps it moving, man. Like okay, she looks nice, but what would I be expected to lose from myself in order to be around her? That's what some of you men are starting to complain about. Number 6, men are not going to singles events. Men don't want to go to no singles event to be around you. Women that have been being complete harlots all over the city. So now you're trying to find a fixed program where quieter things can be going on in it, and thinking that you're doing men a favor by going to that. That's what they think. They're thinking that they're doing you a favor by going to these dating events, when really they're trying to look for a sucker on the outskirts of the high value men. They're trying to find the lowest high value man that they can find to try and manipulate him into thinking that she's someone good. And then she's going to give him some backstory about why she ended up there. And it's all going to be lies and BS. She's just going to lie. She's not going to tell the truth about anything that took place. She's going to just come with some lies, right? Oh, I'm just here for a laugh. No, you're not here for a laugh. You're here because you're distraught and you're thirsty as hell for a man that's of value. But all those men don't want you. They've always continuously used you as a side piece, and you thought that you was some higher ranking woman than you was, right? And got humbled and found out that you're not. And the men that are actually still above you in level, in ranking, you think that they're worse than you. So now you're being cast out to dry. And now you're about 50 pounds heavier than you was when you was in your 20s. Maybe 20 to 50 pounds heavier, and you're more demanding. 50 to 20 pounds heavier, 10 to 20, 10 years uglier, right? 50 body counts, more demons on you. And now you got more what you want, more wanty. Well, here's a Benjamite saying, man, wanty, nah, getty, yeah. Just because you want something, don't mean you're gonna get it. And when you women start wanty, a man to go 50-50, that don't mean he's gonna want it. He's gonna be like, mate, I can do bad by myself. I don't want you up in my spot bothering me. You're gonna start being like that on you. And when all hell breaks loose, men are gonna be able to fight. A lot of men are gonna be better off financially. When all hell breaks loose, man, they're gonna actually end up in a better environment. The spot that they live, if you can call it that in that time, is gonna actually be better than where they live now, paying money for. They're gonna find a lane for themselves, man. Watch. Whereas for you women, you're gonna be finding out the hard way, man. That y'all ain't what you thought you was in life. It's gonna be hilarious. You're gonna really find out a lot of you women, man, that you should have watched your mouth in life, man. You're gonna really find it out. Let's carry on. Men don't want to marry no more now. Why is that a problem for you women? Because through the marriage, a lot of you women was able to get a divorce settlement, but now that's not happening. You was able to get your claws into a man's hard work. Like, a lot of these men that end up getting married, let's say they get married roughly like when they're maybe 30, but then they start building up their career more in their 30s. That's how it normally goes a lot of the time. A man starts getting into the career that he's going to start really making money from when he might be like his mid-30s to like 45, right? He might have went through several periods of time where he changed his career, might have been doing bare different jobs, but then he finds a set thing that's now a career that he can promote, get promotions in and all this. And then if some woman comes along that he either was or wasn't with before, and now he marries her like a fool, and then he gets rinsed out, and she now ends up with all of his hard work just because she married him. And then the women always thought that was justified. Oh, well, it's the law. Oh, well, it's the law. Well, okay, it's the law now that you men are not going to be getting that EBT. So is that righteous then? Because that's the law. It's the law that you might not be on November the 1st getting that EBT. Is that okay then? Or have you got a problem with that? Exactly. Verse 8, not verse 8, verse number 8. Men don't want to commit anymore. Men don't no longer want to be in relationship with you women because they've seen you on Fresh and Fit podcast. They've seen you justifying women that are complete demons online. They've seen you on TikTok. They've seen you in real life, right? Arrogant as hell, walking down the street, walking into men's paths. Men will be walking on the street, see you afar off, move out your way from a far distance so that now you just have to maintain staying straight and he has to just maintain staying straight and you'll walk in his way. You're a demon. But if he was to grab you and just hit you with a DDT or F5 your ass, now you'd be like, oh man, I'm a female as well, you know. I'm a female. Whoa. You deliberately walked in his way, man. I remember when I heard one brother say before that he was on a bus or a train or something like that, and one woman said, yo, you need to get up from the seat or you need to move out my way. Don't you know it's National Women's Day? I was like, rah, a woman actually said that to someone. It's National Woman. Mate, who are you? Who are you? And what that woman that said that in that scenario didn't understand that it could have went from National Women's Day to National Get Your Ass Whoop Day real quick. But they don't understand that. Because they'll go through life and they'll be acting like complete assholes. You know like how it says in the scriptures, right? When a rich man speaketh, everyone holdeth his peace. Well, when these women are going through life a lot of the time, they're getting treated like that rich man. Because a beautiful woman, if we can try and say it's not the case, but it is, a beautiful woman is basically like a woman walking around with riches. Beauty is a currency, right? So she's basically walking around like she's got money. And people just naturally assume that she's someone of some kind of ranking just because of what she looks like, but she's really a piece of garbage. She'd really be prepared to put her tongue where someone poos from if the money was good enough. And she'll go to Dubai and do a Dubai Harry Potter real quick. She'll do a Dubai Porter, you know what, on a real way. Do you know what I mean? She'll do a real one. She'll be on that, mate. And come back to the UK or America proud. I can't stand a broke man, you know. I can't stand, mate. You can't stand a broke man. You can't stand a broke man, you know. Are you kidding me? After what you just did in Dubai. And you're talking up your mouth. I think really you should be putting some Listerine in that bad boy, ringing it around, and shut your mouth, mate. And you better floss in between them teeth too, because there might still be some dookie in there talking that mouth. And more women have went and did that kind of stuff than you'd think. And there'll be, best believe that there'd be a UK version of that too. You know, somebody you may not have to go to Dubai to do that, because there's a fruit and fiber eating demon over in the UK that's prepared to do that madness as well, man. He's prepared to oblige you with some Nutella for a bit of money, mate. And if there's a UK version, then best believe there's an American version. America's literally got a city called Sin City. You think that they wouldn't do that madness over there if they're doing it in Dubai? Dubai never used to exist. So all the people that wanted to do that madness, they must have been getting it off somewhere else, right? You can't even imagine how sickening a lot of these women are that are beautiful too. But what's beauty really worth then when you actually consider that? Isn't that a part of a woman's might? But doesn't Yahweh tell us not to glory in our wisdom, our riches, or our might, but to glory in our faith in Him, that we understand and know of Him? Yes, He does tell us that, man. Number 9, government funding being taken away. And that's one of the main things I'll be speaking about in this lesson, that government funding being taken away, because that's one of the ways how women have been able to be arrogant, because they'll be able to decide to work off their own stuff if they want to. Then they can humble themselves to a man and he'll pay their life, or they can have it paid by the government. But most men don't experience that, man. I remember back to the video that Apostle Gabar did, where he got up and started bunning out the system, man, to one woman that worked in there, and the woman said in the video, "I hope I don't get fired." But that just shows how wicked the society is. Because why should you get fired for admitting the truth? Why should you get fired for admitting that there's a system of financial aid that's deliberately made to only be for women? Like, there's a thing in this society called alimony, spousal support and all that. Mate, how in the hell could it ever be fair that a woman's with a man, right, and now doesn't want to be with him no more? Or even if he doesn't want to be with her no more, let's say he doesn't want to be with her no more, but she wants to be with him. How the hell could that be fair that he still has to pay for her? How the hell is that fair? But if a woman used to cook amazing food for a man, and he got used to eating that kind of food now, right? He can't say, okay, I'm not no longer with her no more. She's now with another guy, but she still better cook me those 3 meals a day that she used to cook me. She got to cook me breakfast, lunch, and dinner still. She got to come by the house and make those meals every single day. But the man's expected to still do the financial helping to that woman without her now having to give him back anything in return. So that's actually even more that he's having to give her, really. Because when he used to give her that money before, she would have actually even been around him. And that just shows how female-centered this wicked-ass society is. And that's why it's so destroyed, man. Because how are you going to have a society where the people that maintain and build up the society are treated the worst? That doesn't even make any sense. Number 10, food being more expensive. This is a thing that's hitting you women off, because that's part of the reason why men ain't taking you out to these places no more. Because like, man, I ain't paying that. It used to cost this amount to take a woman to that restaurant, but I ain't paying that now. So I don't even want to go out to that restaurant myself now. I'm gonna eat in more. I ain't got the money to be paying that. So now you women ain't getting treated like that. And then you women are starting to, when you go to the store now, realize that it's more expensive, because now there's not just you buying that chicken thighs boneless, or that chicken breast, and that asparagus and broccolis and apples and beef mince, turkey rashers, right? Fish, salmon, right? Lamb chops. No, now there's a man that's single buying that as well. So now the demand's gone up. And rather than now that meal being split between a family, no, now it's one person buying it, one single man buying it, one single woman buying it, one family of 4 wanting that as well, and another family of 4 wanting it. Now there's more people wanting that same food that would have stretched between them all, because some of the times when you single people be buying that food, it be getting thrown in the bin. You don't eat them leftovers and all that. Some of the times it gets thrown in the bin. And if you was to look and monitor your wastage, you'd realize that you're actually wasting your money. You're throwing away a lot of food, right? But among some of you women, you don't know nothing about that. You don't know how to monitor stuff like that. You don't know nothing about that. Because you've been so used to somebody else just paying it for you, man. Whereas men can get real gross with what they're prepared to eat. That's lawful, of course, in order to survive. A man will just open up a can of tuna and have a spoon and just eat that straight and not care, man. We're like, it's protein, innit? And what? I don't see no, I don't need no seasoning right now. I'm in survivor mode. I'm on this. Grab that can of tuna. Oh, we ain't got a can opener? Okay, I'm gonna use a spoon to open that can. I'm gonna find a way into that tuna and just eat it with that spoon, man. Men will do that. And they'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna drink the brine too. But that's extra nourishment. Women will be like, this is too salt. They won't be able to handle all that, man. But men will be able to handle that. When it really gets down to the wire, men can do it, man. Men can manage. Men can manage deciding to sleep on the floor to prepare themselves in case they have to sleep outside one of the days, man. If they have to sleep in the wood, men can do a lot, man. You know, some of you women think that you're so special because you got birthing pains. The birthing pains are punishments for being wicked. But you thought that, oh, men, could you handle birth pains? The birth pains are punishment for how wicked you was, for what Eve did. So it's not something to be boasting in. But birthing pains ain't going to mean nothing when all hell breaks loose. And all you men that talk all that birth pain thing, would you want to experience birth pains in the day of the Lord's wrath? No, you wouldn't. Right? You wouldn't want to. 11, rent being more expensive. That's a thing that's attacking women's pride as well. Because it's getting more expensive to live in them apartments and them houses that you want to be in, man. On that single life. And some of your landlords are men. That's the thing. You're arrogant about don't need no man. But I've seen more than enough videos of you women sleeping to pay the rent. Sleeping with your landlord to pay the rent, man. And then being like, I'm going to frame him for grape. Because I'm tired of doing this. Oh, I only did it the first few times, but now I'm getting tired of this. You shouldn't have did it any time. And then you're thinking that you're stush now because now you don't want to do it no more, but you did it in the first place though. And while you was doing that, you was talking about how broke men are. You was talking about how men ain't doing this and men ain't doing that, but you was sleeping around to pay the rent. And these are some of the teats that you're going to be lamenting for, man, because now the man's going to be like, you know what, I don't want to sleep with you. I want my rent money. No, I don't want that funky ass box. I want the rent. The rent's more valuable. The rents, and some of you women that have got OnlyFans, the man's gonna, some of your OnlyFans women that I do in this situation, the man's gonna be like, I already seen everything that you got for $5.99. I'm subscribed. I already seen your landlord's gonna be like, I'm subscribed. So if I knew I could have seen all that funky ass stuff that you got going on for $5.99, mate, I would have never tried to holler at you in the first place. So deduct the $5.99 out of the rent you owe me, and I want my rent money. That's what's gonna be happening to some of you, man. I want the rent money. The rent money's $1,000. Yeah, you ain't worth that. So give me the rent money, and if not, you're evicted, nigga. And that's what some of you men are gonna experience. Now, y'all don't believe that, It's going to happen, man. And all them guys that you try and call up, hey, oh, hey, I ain't got it right now. I ain't got it right now. That man's going to be too focused on paying his own rent, man. He's going to have moved on to some next woman that's got some damn manners, or decided, you know what? Maybe it's best for me to not even bother about what women have got going on right now for a bit, man. And just fix up myself and try and overcome what evil things I've got within me as a man that I need to purge out of myself. And maybe if I don't even focus on what women have got going on, I can actually improve my own self right now without caring about anything that they've got going on, man. And I can focus on believing in the Lord more and whatever he's going to be thinking, man. Even in the worldly sense, focus on chasing that so-called bag and all that. That's what some of these men in the world and some of these men in the truth are going to be thinking, man. And it's going to affect you women, and that's why you complain about men not approaching no more. Because as much as you women run your mouth about how good you are with this and good you are with that, you still got such a high ego that you don't think that you should have to go to men. You don't think that you should have to approach a man that you actually like, even. So even the men that you like, that you actually know are better than you, he's richer than you, he's more handsome than you are beautiful. He's got his stuff in his life fixed up more than you've got fixing your life fixed up. You used to think that he's supposed to come and approach you when you want him at the end of it all to pay for everything in your life. He don't want you to pay for everything in his life once the relationship's completely established, but you want him to pay for every single thing in your life forever, even if the relationship should not be around anymore. Yet you mean don't humble yourself to be like, you know what, I'm going to go and approach him. The arrogance levels of that is disgusting to me. And the more and more as I'm getting older in this world, I'm really starting to understand why the Bible says all the things that it says about you women, especially you Israelite ones, man. But then I've got to say this, the women of you other nations are demons too. All of y'all are wicked right now. But this is a thing for the Israelite woman because she's going to be under the new covenant. So she's got a chance to repent right now. You other women of the other nations, you ain't got no chance to repent. You may as well carry on doing what you're doing. Because you ain't going to be in the kingdom like how the Israelite woman's going to be in the kingdom anyway. Number 12, women getting arrested. This is a thing that's become real popular. I really enjoy watching those body cam arrest videos, man. I really enjoy that, man. Seeing some loudmouth woman trying to think she controlling something. The cop saying, either give me have you got your ID? Have you got your ID? I don't need to give you my ID. Have you got your ID? Ma'am, I'm going to give you one more chance. Get the ID or I'm going to smash the windows in your car and you're finna get arrested. No, I'm not. You are. Okay, one more chance, ma'am. I'm going to smash if you don't give me your ID, I'm going to smash the windows and you're going to get arrested. She still thinks he's playing. He smashes the windows. Okay, I'll get my ID. Now he's got his hands around her wrist. Now she wants to give the ID. Okay, I'll get my ID. What? You treating me like a man. I'm a woman. You knew you was a woman from the moment you woke up. You knew you was a woman when you started drink driving. You knew you was a woman when you was running your mouth saying you're not going to get arrested. But now you're trying to remind the officer that you're a woman. Now that you know that you're going to go to jail. Nah. And you women like to say that you're equal with men. So why are you saying you're getting treated like a man and sounding shocked for? Why are you mentioning your gender? You're supposed to get treated equal. Your gender's not relevant right here. And some of you women was on that doctrine of what is a woman? So what is a woman when you're getting arrested? Who cares? Like, what is a woman? I've seen plenty of videos where the woman tries to call the police on the man for some domestic violence, right? And they blatantly confess to the officer, oh yeah, he made me mad. So then I kind of clawed at his face with my nails, but I only did that because he made me mad. And then the officer's like, okay, so you hit him. Yeah, but only because he made me mad. Okay, you're under arrest. You know what I mean? And then I was like, what? And starts trying to come talking to the man. I can't believe you did this to me. These times she was trying to get him arrested. She can't believe that she's getting arrested. But she called the cops to try and arrest his ass. And was lying and trying to tell the police that he did what she did. But she's now shocked that her that actually did the things that she was trying to accuse him of doing. He's getting arrested and put in handcuffs now. She can't believe it. She just can't believe, like, how is this happening? No, it's happening because you're getting that equality that you asked for, man. Because the police officers have been watching that Fresh and Fit podcasts, yeah? They've been watching Kevin Samuels, they've been watching TikTok, they've been on Instagram, they've been seeing what's happening with women in their own personal lives. They've been realizing that you women are liars and wicked as hell. And now when they show up, they're not just believing that he put his hands on me, like y'all say. He was talking and ranting and raving, and that's one of your women's number one catchphrase. He put his hands on me. You know what I mean? I'm not finna, he not my daddy, he not my daddy, he not my daddy, he not finna put his hands on me. He got me fucked up. He not finna, right? F-I-N-N-A. He not finna put his hands, H-A-N-D-Z, his hands on me. Yeah? He not finna, hey, Salakia. He not finna put his hands on me. That's what some of y'all main catchphrase, man. But y'all women be finna put y'all hands on everyone all the time. Some of y'all women, I've seen the videos, man. Some of y'all women were straight. Some of these women out there were straight box a male police officer in his mouth, you know. They'll just straight ball up that whack ass fist that they make, where they punch with the completely wrong part of the hand, bam the police officer in his mouth, and then be shocked when now they get put in a reverse armbar, slammed on their head, get put in a spit guard, right? Hemmed up, get tased in their stomach, all kind of procedures, man. Get put in leg brace. I'm thinking of some of these videos right now. Get put in a complete Hannibal Lecter suit, right? Get put in end up looking like Hannibal Lecter by the time the arrest is over. You got a spit guard on, flipping legs braced up, arms strapped in, get put in a whole straight jacket, right? For a DUI. It was a DUI. They just needed to show the ID that was going to get fined, maybe get their car towed. Which is like, nah, I'm not going to get arrested. Bitch. Come with all that BS, right? And now you're hemmed up, got resisting arrest, assault on an officer charges, extras now. Just because you didn't want, some of you women try to throw the box at the officer. I'm prepared to do what it takes to make this DUI go away, Mr. Officer. Yeah, of course you are. Duh. You think we didn't know that? You think we didn't know? What the hell do you think y'all was doing before the body cams was on, man? But now some of the officers are like, mate, I ain't finna lose my job over this shit. Fuck you, bitch. I'm keeping the camera on and I'm gonna show that you was trying to coerce me to. I don't want it. They're like, mate, I don't want it. First of all, you're too fat. I don't even want that. You're under arrest. You know what I mean? The cops ain't going for that dodgy deal no more, man. You men are starting on them body cam arrests, man. Saw the Edomite woman's getting it in them body cam arrests. The Israelite woman's getting it. Or you Edomite Karens out there, man. Which a Karen is always been an Edomite woman. There ain't no Israelite women that are no Karen. The Karen thing is for so-called white women because they've been the most proud women on the earth, running around. Oh, you're never gonna work in this town again. I want to speak to the manager. They've been the ones that are running that mouth. That Karen thing, let's not try and make it like a Israelite woman's a Karen. She's just a ratchet ass demon. The Karen thing is for the so-called white woman because she's usually able to always get away with that funky ass attitude that she's got, man. That stinks like wet bin, like warm bin liquid, right? And she's gonna get humbled as well, man. When by the time Yahweh Shem Yahshua is finished with her, and she's gonna be right next to a man in the captivity too. Let's just let that be known too. Because I think some of you Edomite women out there think that the Israelite man just I want the Edomite man out the way so I can love my babes, the Edomite woman the way I want to. Because he's the one stopping our true love from shining. And if he weren't there, that's what would there be? Because that's the way a lot of you Israelite women think about the Israelite man. That if the Israelite man didn't exist no more, then the Edomite man would realize that I'm the one for him, not that so-called white woman. She doesn't even respect Massa like how Massa needs to be respected. I'm the one that loves him the way how he needs to be loved. I ain't never seen no video, no Edomite woman do what I saw that so-called black woman do to the so-called King of England, where she crawled on her knees. Oh my God. Crawled on her knees to him, you know. But when her husband Winston comes home, yeah? You think she's ever did that to her husband Winston? Or whatever her husband's name is, her husband Elroy. You think she ever came home whenever Elroy came home? Winston, Livingston and that, Clinton. You think she ever, when he came home, right? You think she ever came home whenever he was drinking and went on her knees for him like that? Like she did for that Edomite with them big sausage fingers? Never once in life. She would have been more likely to be sighing under her breath that he's come home. Oh God, this guy. Oh man. But when it was a filthy Edomite that did all kind of rituals behind the scenes, he was, oh my God, I can't believe this. Yeah, believer idiot, man. A complete coon, man. But let's get back into these numbers. 13 women being treated more equally and being held accountable, which goes into the police arrests. You ain't getting completely tased up, man. You ain't at the airport drunk as hell. Like a lot of you women are alcoholics, man. You're just alcoholics, bro. Just at the airport going off. Attacking children at the airport. Just being a complete demon, man. Went through these body cam arrests, we really get to see how wicked you women are, man. The scriptures ain't wrong and lying about you. The scriptures ain't harsh on you women and giving you a bad reputation. The scriptures was explaining what men have always known since the times began, man. That you men are wicked. We're getting a taste of it now in this society, though. We're getting to see, like, man, yeah, man. And this is why Solomon said what he said, because he would have been testing the women that he had. Like, oh, this case has happened. What do you think I should do? The law says I'm supposed to make him go to supposed to make them be unalive for adultery. Oh, but you know, us women, we sometimes get emotional. I think you should spare them. Oh, you wicked ass demon. So you want me to lose my kingdom just because you want to spare a harlot for adultery? Yeah, nah. I ain't doing that. I'm King Solomon. I ain't doing that. But then he started doing it and giving into women's foolishness as he got older. But initially, he would have been experiencing women doing all kind of madness, wanting to let people off. Trying to tell him, oh, you shouldn't have you should have let that one off. She was nice. I knew her. She was all right. Look how pretty she was, though. Oh, but he wasn't a good man. He wasn't treating her right. So you should have understood why she committed adultery on him. Oh yeah, should I? So we should lose our kingdom because of your fake ass understanding, huh? 14, men not defending women that they don't know. That's a good one. Right? You women at the train station having something heavy. You women at the train station been waiting at the train for less time as the man that's waiting for the train, and you expect him to allow you to get on the train before him and get a seat. Nah, fam. He's getting on the train before you because he's been waiting longer, right? And he's going to get a seat and you're going to stand up. That's what's happening now. And when you start running your mouth in public, yo, who you talking to? Who you talking to? Who you talking? You're not going to talk. You got me messed up. Yo, I'll go buck wild in this train, you know? Okay, you can go buck wild on that train, you know. But just know this, I'm going to be a spectator. Like, I ain't your tag team. This ain't Hardy Boys. This ain't Dudley Boys. This ain't the Warriors. You know what I mean? This ain't no tag team. I ain't getting involved in this match. I ain't Eddie Hearn. I'm not your promoter. You set up your own fight, right? And you ain't my box. You ain't Eddie Hearn. You ain't Frank Warren. You ain't promoting me. You ain't my fight promoter that's setting me up an opponent and I don't know you. So it ain't going to be you start getting up in that man's face, clapping your hands. See, I'm tired of niggas like you. I'm tired of niggas. And then when he starts going upside your head, now I have to jump up and try and stop him from fighting you. But he might be good at fighting. And now I got to risk my health to help you. Men are like, I ain't doing that. They ain't just stepping in to help you men that don't know you. They ain't stepping in to defend you when you start running your mouth in public. yo, that's a woman. You shouldn't even, nah, that's a weaker vessel, man. You can't ever talk to a woman like that. They're like, man, she probably deserves the ass whooping that she's getting given. They're not helping. The women shall mourn. It's prophecy. The women shall mourn. The women shall mourn, having no helpers. Because all this time that they was thinking that they're independent, no, they were just allowed to be alone while people helped them invisibly. So now they had all these men that was helping them still, but they're not actually having to report to those men and give those men anything in return. But now they're starting to realize that that so-called independence has a cost, man. Just like how you Edomites are starting to realize that your racism and your hatred towards the children of Israel, that's got a cost too. And the more you are overt with your racial hatred towards us, the more we're going to be like, okay, fuck you too. And it's going to be people in the world that are going to be like that. Because some of you, these Jakes, are still so dumb that they only think that you so-called white people are racist if you call them a nigger. If you don't say the N-word, they don't think you ain't racist. But you're racist whether you do or don't say that word. We know as Israelites that you hate our guts, but we don't like you either. Or you don't like us, okay, we don't like you. So it's equal, right? Men not helping women in public that they don't know. Number 16, sisterhood breaking down. Some women exposing female wickedness, and that's happening. Women are starting to not be on that sisterhood stuff, and they're starting to tell you men about yourself. Now, the ones on YouTube, some of them are doing it because there's a financial reward, but they still believe what they're saying, and they're still allowing men to know. Like there's women out there that are exposing all the mentality of women. Right? I ain't gonna list them, but there's women out there that are exposing it. 10 ways women manipulate men. 5 ways to know if a woman's a harlot. 5 ways to know if a woman's this and that. 2 ways. Number 1 way that women, you know what I mean? They're baiting out all the tricksy women, man. When you women try and post one of them crazy posts on Twitter or Instagram or something like that, there's women that are going out, yeah, but look at you though. You're talking about men being like this, but the bottom of your foot looks like it needs a Brillo pad to smooth off the heel, man. So what are you talking for? They're starting to give you women back what you're giving out, man. Number 17, men giving women equal rights and lefts. What's that talking about? When you women try and run up your mouth and fight men in public that you don't know, they're starting to defend themselves physically. Now, some women and men will think, oh, this ain't right. The man should just restrain the woman. Why is he got to start pulling out survival, like police techniques now against some woman that he don't know that's attacking him? She knew what the cost was before she started doing that. So he doesn't have to do that. He could, and some would argue that he should, but he doesn't have to. Right? He don't have to do that, man. And I've heard elders joking around about how when all hell is going loose, that there's going to be a fight league made. And you mean that thought you were so equal to men, all you studs out there, and that you thought you were so equal to men, are going to get to try and prove yourself against men then? In a physical realm, man. And I think that that's hilarious. The thought of that actually taking place, to me, is hilarious, man. Some stud with a Pookie and Ray Ray hairstyle trying to fight the real version of that. The fake female Pookie and Ray Ray trying to fight the real Pookie and Ray Ray. She gets dusted off so quick. She'd get some of that float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Your hands can't hit while your eyes can't see. Rumble young, rumble young man, rumble. And just be looking simple as hell, man. Women should not fight men. Women should not fight men. Because the difference in strength is ridiculous, man. The way how women even fall when you see them try and fight men on all these YouTube and all this stuff, and if you've ever seen it in real life, the way how they fall, the way how they go from being vertical to horizontal in like half a second is ridiculous. They didn't expect that gravity was going to help them sit on their pockets, mate. Like, it's ridiculous. They should not fight men, yet their mind doesn't make them recognize that man outweighs them by about 100 pounds some of the time, by about 50 pounds, and that they know that they are not trained in fighting. They don't know how to throw a punch. And they'll come at him with their heel, like they're just doing madness out here. Verse 18, I already mentioned, number 18, I already mentioned this one. Having their whoredoms exposed, Dubai, and selling that thing, man. And now with this EBT thing that came out, they started blatantly going to that saying, I don't want no one saying nothing to me when I start selling it. As if there wasn't already. They didn't want that Dubai thing to be exposed, that that's what they're doing in Dubai. They wanted it to be believed that they're just getting all that money for righteousness. You had one female musician, Saweetie, I believe, that people came out and they're saying that she was doing that. Like, it's being exposed that you men are not just getting in all of these places because you're just likable. It's because the people are paying to sleep with you. But these are all the things that you women are not being able to lament for the Teats for. Are starting to lament for the Teats for, because all of these things are being taken away, man. They're ruining your public image, right? The way how men used to look at you, they're not looking at you no more because of these things. Because they're realizing how entitled and proud, and in how, in many cases, disgusting you are. And even the women that are not doing some of these things, they still don't want to speak up or try and justify in some way those women, showing that they in somehow still actually believe that those things are okay to do. Now, for the sake of truth, I have to say this. Some of you women out there that have did all these things that I've mentioned might be and are of the elect of the nation of Israel, meaning that you've been given the faith of the Lord, and you're going to repent from all of these things and receive salvation. Some of you are. You can still be, if you're an Israelite woman, you can still be forgiven for all of these things that I mentioned. But you have to repent, though. You have to change, man. And if you refuse to change, then that means you're not of the elect and you're going to receive the judgment that you deserve. Right? And on that, I'm going to say, Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.